Hi, besties. Oh, my head's disappearing again.
What up, everybody?
How are you? It's Monday night. You know what time it is. We're back at it again.
That's right.
It's me. My name's Amanda.
What up? I'm DC Hendricks, everybody. Pleasure to be with y'all. Hope y'all had a great weekend, Labor Day. Hopefully you had at least a day off. I know a lot of people were working, but hopefully at least you got a day off to enjoy and kick back. I mean, that's what today was for, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely. Oh. Okay, well, it's happening sooner rather than later because I can't even see what's going on. Hi, Ed. Ed's in the chat. I do think that Joe, I mean, we'll get right into it. I do think Joe did a pretty good job, to be honest. I think it like adds to that sports-based presentation. I think everything is like when someone's brand new, there's going to be things that people pick apart about them. So I think overall, though, went pretty well. I just personally don't like change. Ooh, my head's disappearing for real. I know that I don't like. Oh. I know
I
I
have to
don't
do the
like
whole show
change.
in one position, like just sit like this the whole time.
Yeah, I have to just don't move. I know I don't like change, so I'm assuming that any like problems are like there. Now I have a head again. It's fine. It's
That's
whatever.
better. There it
Um,
is.
but don't move. Okay. Don't move. I'm just assuming that
That's all
anything
right. I
that
was
like
watching before we hopped on. I was watching Fightfuls. They started their Raw thing too, and Sean Ross, anyone follows him, he started their Monday Night Raw show for the whole first 2 or 3 minutes on mute. So
oh,
I mean,
I
look,
mean,
it's Monday.
it
We're
is
all dealing with the
Monday.
case of the Mondays.
It is. It's a case of the Mondays for sure.
So you enjoyed Joe Tessitore tonight?
I mean, I did well enough, and I think that anything that I didn't like, it's probably just like me not being the most flexible person. I don't know. I think that the magic between Michael Cole and Pat will be very exciting to have back once they get to Netflix. But I think this like interim time, it's like fine with me. It's all right. Joe, did they say he was the voice on Holy Moly as well? That like Pet show that had it was like Steph Curry's Pet show.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so like his voice sounded super familiar to me, and I was like, "What is this guy like? I know I don't know you from Monday Night Football, buddy. Like, what do I know your voice from?" And so I do think it was Holy Moly, and I think it was a fun combination of those two announcing styles actually, because it was kind of like over the top, like Holy Moly, but then it was still like sporty. So, what did
Yeah,
you think?
yeah. So like, I mean, obviously, like with my sports radio background, I'm a big Joe Tessitore fan. So like, I was obviously enjoying it. I was enjoying that aspect of it, and also the graphics. So like, they're showing graphics now, in case anyone missed it, showing all the teams, the ring announcers,
Yeah,
the play-by-play, and everything across the
yeah,
bottom, which made it feel more like a sports broadcast. So like, I'm all
yeah.
for it. Like I said, I might be biased with my sports radio background, but I enjoyed it. I was a little bit on your end, a little bit at the beginning. I was kind of like the whole Rhea when her leg got stuck in the rope. Like we definitely could have used Michael Cole's reaction to that. Like I hate to say that, but like we were
Mhm.
missing Michael Cole's reaction to that because obviously Michael Cole is a little bit more eccentric with things like that, especially because he's been there. So like obviously, there were small areas where we noticed the difference, but overall, I thought he did a great job. It was his first time. So obviously, there's going to be some jitters. There's going to be some ring rust, mic rust, as they would probably call it. But I thought he did a good job. I feel like he got more comfortable as the broadcast went on. And obviously, him and Wade, I imagine, have never worked together and are still trying to figure that out. So I thought it was actually really good tonight.
Yeah, it was fun. I do appreciate I think Wade adds a very interesting character element. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll get to it. But he very much got involved in a story tonight. And I think that it was not beyond the realm of comprehension. Like it was a nice touch. So I enjoyed that. Um, I guess I mean that's my best of the best. What's your best of the best? You should go first.
So the best of my best tonight, although it was very short, I really enjoyed Braun Breaker and Jey Uso's face to face backstage. I really enjoyed that. I know, like I said, I know it's very short, but like I really enjoyed. First of all, Braun Breaker letting them know, like, you know, you can go keep enjoying getting Dominik sloppy seconds. You know, like I really love that line. I thought that was funny, and you could tell it got Jay a little bit, caught Jay off guard a little bit. He's, you know, he kind of lost himself for a moment, almost broke character for a second. But you know, their face to face and their quick promo, I guess it wasn't really a promo, but just them talking shit to each other. I enjoyed it because it has me excited. It's very obvious that Jay's winning the number one contender, like clearly, like they're already forecasting it. So that was my best of the best tonight. I really enjoyed their face to face. It really ignites a feud that I feel like, you know, while we got Sammy Chad for a little while, it was something that I feel like we grew tired of rather quickly. So I'm hoping we get a legitimate. This is the first time, you know, for Braun Breaker's reign, since it's early, right? That gets his first big feud that really feels like a feud, I believe. So I'm really glad to see that, you know, take a little bit of shape. Now, it could be completely wrong and Jay loses, which I hope not. But it feels like they're definitely going towards a Jay Braun Breaker feud for the Intercontinental belt.
It stresses me out that it's just like randomly going to be Braun versus Braun, but whatever. I don't know. Let's see what's going on over here.
Braun Strowman's going to win it?
I mean, that's my fear, is that it's just a Braun versus Braun situation.
Nah.
You know what's funny is that my mind always immediately goes to how somebody else would have booked these things.
Right.
So I'm always like, oh no, like that's just something that would make that man laugh. So that's what they're gonna do. But like, that's
I guess
not
just
even
to catch everyone up real quick, because I guess we got to let them in on exactly what the hell we're talking about. So like, Braun Strowman took Bronson Reed's spot. There was a triple threat match tonight that was for Intercontinental Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match next week. And Bronson Reed was supposed to be in the match. He wasn't there tonight, so he needed somebody to replace his spot. Braun Strowman took his spot, which is ironic because he was the one who got slammed through. I mean, didn't slam, but got squished, smashed through a car, top of a car. So Braun Strowman takes his spot against Lowood Kaiser and Sheamus in a triple threat match. Obviously, Sheamus and Kaiser are distracted. Well, Sheamus was distracted, I guess. Pete Dunne, who was in two feuds at the same time on two different shows. I think this is the first time I've ever seen that. Shout out Pete Dunne. Two feuds on two shows. Like, look, let's go. He getting TV time. But Braun Strowman took Bronson Reed's spot, and Braun Strowman pinned Kaiser, I believe, for to win the match.
Yes. So
Braun Strowman's in the Fatal 4-Way. What up, Matt?
He said, "But hi to both of us." Hello. I agree, Matt. I agree. Who else is here? Just say hello.
Rhea Ripley has to take down Liv. That storyline is kind of a joke to me.
Oh my god, I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, you haven't? I watched that like 3 times already.
Was it good? Is it good?
Yeah, I mean, like,
or is it funny?
I mean, it's funny. Oh. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and judge Trick Williams' lyrical ability as a rapper. So like, look, he's not, you know, obviously the most lyrical. He's definitely not going to be able to be John Cena. Like, let's be real. But like, very funny, and I love that it included NXT talent in the video.
Oh, it does.
Yes. So Lash Legend's in it. Jakara Jackson's in it. Nikita Lyons is in it. Fallon Henley's in it. Tony D'Angelo is in it, which threw me completely off. That was awesome. He has like lookalikes of Pete, like Pete Dunne lookalikes in the video, like literally dressed up like him as Butch though. Oh. Like when he was Butch with Sheamus and them. Yeah, it was the Creed brother. I don't know if it was both the brothers in it, but Julius was in it for sure. Julius Creed and Ivy Nile was in it. So tons of NXT talent in the video. It was funny. It was funny. I give it about a 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, MDB's here. Hi.
What up, MDB?
Okay, so that's what we were talking about. There is a trick diss track on Pete. That sounds really good. I'm interested in that. I'll get to that later. So let us know what you think. Let us know how you liked Raw. Let us know how it went for you. What was your best of the best? What was your least best? Let us know. Pop this information in this chat. Yes. MDB's here. Thank you. I got a new pencil. I did. And I thought, oh, MDB, he's going to know. And he did
MDB
know.
gonna let you know.
I'm proud of it. I'm happy
What up,
about
MDB?
it. We love the day one besties. Can I tell you? There's like some OG squad besties that it just makes me feel like warm in my heart. Like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
For sure.
That's
Every
so
week.
good.
Every week. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, Ed, that is yes, she did a great job. That match was a little bit I think I was writing something else, so it's not like it was forgettable, but the one thing that I did clearly see was I looked up and saw the her swan dive situation. Like she just had a beautiful boop on top of all of American Made. It was very fun. So that match was just sort of I think an opportunity for the Wyatt Six to come out. I also think like in theory that's like kind of blowing off, like ending the feud between Alpha Academy and American Made, I suppose. But it was Maxine, Akira Tozawa, and Otis against Julius and Brutus Creed, and then Ivy Nile. So it was fun. I like the one that they're having more kind of like, or what are we supposed to call them? What is like the PC thing to call it? I don't think it's intergender. Is it mixed?
No, I mean just mixed tag. Mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just appreciate that we're getting like more of that variety because I always like that. Like if you're gonna have a faction with a girl in it, like I would like to see the boys and the girls fight together, like more of a actual squad. So that was enjoyable. It also set up an opportunity for what I think is a stupid move personally. Like if I'm Chad Gable, I would not be doing this. Like why would you call them out again? Like I get where he called them out. So Chad Gable calls out Uncle Howdy and is like, you only beat me because your buddies are with you. You didn't beat me on your own. So fine. Let's have an 8. And everyone kept saying 8-man tag. And then I just wanted to like, I'm pretty sure Nikki Cross and Ivy Nile are in it. I think it's an 8-person and they were just saying 8-man. Like I think the girls are involved.
Yeah, especially because like they were in the graphic.
Yeah, and somebody else said you pick like whatever 3. I think Chad Gable was like, pick whatever 3 freaks you want, but it's like they don't get to pick Nikki. Like she's in it for sure.
Right.
But so that was so Chad Gable issues that challenge, and then Uncle Howdy immediately comes out and says like some honestly, like what I love about this character is that he keeps going with that almost word salad gobbledygook that I really loved from Bray Wyatt, where like if you're not listening or if you don't follow it week to week, you're just like, what the hell? Like it's just like blah, blah, blah. It just sounds like mush. Like it sounds like nothing. But then like when you put them together, when you have context or when it's like a part of the bigger story, you're like, oh my God. And then like later we'll watch it in 5 years and be like, oh my God. And so it's kind of fun in that way. But I like that communication style is continuing. Like the Uncle Howdy is not direct either. Like it's still a little bit of riddle. There's still a little bit of smoke and mirrors going on. And quite literally because the stage still has the smoke and stuff when everyone's coming out. But then the rest of the faction came out and they kind of just like, you know, posed and it's cute and I like it. And then it did a jump scare to the end. I'm still enjoying it, but I also just like do not admittedly, I don't really consume a lot of wrestling media. Like I don't watch a lot of podcast stuff. I still watch the Wrestle Talk News in the morning sometimes. Not as much. I used to watch it every single day, but I haven't as much lately. But other than that, I don't like know what other people's opinions are. So my opinions are genuinely just like what I think.
Yeah.
And I don't ever know how cringe they are. And I don't ever know how weird my thought process is. But I'm still enjoying the Wyatt Six. I just think at some point we should probably move on from American Made. But I understand where if we're headed for a mixed tag, that's like sort of a blow off type of a thing. I would expect it. I feel like we're far away from Bad Blood, but perhaps we're not. think we have a whole month to go. I just, for some reason, thought that it would be both of their factions in the cage. Sometimes I fan fiction myself. What is it? Fantasy book. I fantasy book myself into a corner because there's something that I think I like, and then I'm
We
like,
all do
oh,
it.
that's not happening. But yeah, so they'll have a match next week.
I'm with you, Amanda, to be real. Like, I think we were talking about it last week where we thought that was it. Like, you
Yeah.
lost to the boss, bro.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
why are
sorry.
you challenging them again? I
Yeah.
just think from like a human perspective, if you look at it from a storyline, although the whole rub with Chad Gable, the character, is that he's like a total narcissist. So he probably did make up excuses for himself
Yeah.
as to why he lost.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get where they're coming from, but I just,
Yeah.
when it happened, like when he was standing there being like, we'll fight you all, I was like, what? You're going to
You and your
fight them all,
freaks.
bro? Like, that
Call them
doesn't seem
freaks.
to make sense. Like, you've all individually lost, so why are you going to go do this again? It's just strange. It was strange, but it's okay. It makes sense within the storyline. He's a wild one, so he's
Wow.
gonna.
So Ed said his best was Maxine. So like, while that was enjoyable, I'll flip the script a little bit, and I was a little bit more excited about the showing from Ivy Nile. While
Yes.
Maxine is definitely improved, I feel like Ivy Nile is also one that is very underappreciated, very underrated. Yes, Rylan, for sure. Ivy Nile is someone that if you watched her in NXT, you know what she can bring. You know what she got. She's one of the best, honestly, in the ring, in the women's division. We just need to see her on television. We need to see her in the ring. So I thought, her getting the victory, obviously, for the team, and with her submission, I think that was big for her tonight. I think she shined the brightest in that match.
I think that she has like freakish strength that they haven't necessarily showcased yet, but like she can do some wild things. Like just Ivy Nile's pretty much a boss. So
I'm kind of digging American Made.
I like them too.
It started slow, but it's starting to hit with me. I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of reminding me of a modern World's Greatest Tag Team with Kurt Angle type deal, but a little bit different, obviously, because you got Ivy Nile in it, who is obviously with the Creed. I'm enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would. I'm enjoying it.
I'm trying to figure out if they're meant to ride the line between like, I think it's possible. Don't quote me on this, but it's possible that they're like, it's one of those gimmicks that two different populations are seeing two different things. Like, I think if you love America and like if you're driving a pickup truck and you're listening to Toby Keith and you're on a vibe, you are seeing them and you're like, yes, like I love that. Like I love America. Let's do
For
this.
America.
Like, America rules. Yeah, like
that part was kind of cringe. I'm not gonna lie.
The hand motion freaks me out because I do think that so many, dude, I saw some stuff at like both conventions, to be fair, where like we're getting a little too close to a Bellamy salute. You need to stop doing that, please. Like nobody wants to see anybody doing that in public in a group setting. But I don't think that's what they're doing. I do think that they have like this fun America if you love America. And then you flip it on its head. And if you're like a different kind of person who like you drive a Subaru and you have this dog in the back and you like, you know what I mean? I drive a Subaru, so that's why I said that. But like, like I hate, oh my God,
very personal.
other people driving the damn Subarus, I cannot handle. Like I cannot handle another Subaru driver. But nevertheless, with like a canoe and you're like going out to the forest, you might be seeing this faction and going like, ew, that's annoying. And like getting kind of like, it's like grating to you. Like if patriotism is grating to you, you're annoyed by them. But I can understand the realm of comprehension. There's like other people who are like, yeah, this is dope. Like this is me. Yeah. And I think that's really fun. And I don't know if they're attempting to do something super nuanced, but I do think that it's, I think a lot of their character work is pretty mindfully selected. And I also think that that sweet Ivy Nile, I don't know that she's necessarily acting, but I do think that, or if she got these like character notes, but like she was the one out of the group who still looked frightened. I guess she's the only one who hasn't had a match yet, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was very much like, I thought that was a nice touch, that like Julius is ready to fight. Like, yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? Like he had no fear. Chad Gable seems pretty sassy.
That was one of my favorite moments, by the way, from Joe Tessitore tonight. Before the match, they were backstage, American Made, and Chad Gable's getting them ready. Like, I'm tired of taking losses. Go out there and give me a win. And he slapped Julius Creed to get him ready for the match. And Joe Tessitore says, man, I don't know. It might have been a little bit extra on that slap right there. Like, just little stuff like that. That's the stuff we need, because that is definitely something that Michael Cole would have said in that moment. So, like, that kind of stuff is what we're going to need from Joe Tessitore to help people that have been so used to Michael Cole for so long.
Yeah.
We need more of that. Just a little bit more of that, and we will be just fine.
Yeah. It was fun. I do think he did a good job.
Yes.
So, yeah, Wyatt 6, that continues. What else happened tonight? There was a women's triple threat tag team match that, let's go again. Why are we gonna have a rubber match between Bianca and Jade and the Unholy Union? I do not care. I'm sorry.
They won the titles back at Bash of Berlin.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's an update. Yeah, that's from when we last saw each other.
Everyone.
They did win, and they did not turn on each other. And that new T-shirt probably still meant nothing. They could turn on each other in like a week, but yeah, there was a triple threat to see who would face them next, and it was Pure Fusion Collective. Who was in the ring though? It was just Zoe.
Well,
no.
That was a different match. Yeah, Zelina Vega faced. So there's two separate matches. See, this is the problem with all these trios and tag teams. It gets bunched all together. You got 1 week where you got Pure Fusion Collective with Damage Control, and then the next week, this is the problem. This is what we were talking about. So earlier on in the night, which is completely, I don't want to say meaningless, because there is something that's going to happen out of it, but Shayna beat Zelina. Zelina loses again, which don't get me started. Like, I'm glad she's on television, but get her a win at some point. Like, my God. But Pure Fusion Collective, who we criticized last week, at least I did, for being really dominant for a few weeks and then losing 2-3 weeks in a row. Shayna gets a big win, and they talk trash afterwards. Oh, step up to get beat down, yada, yada, yada. But Lyra and Zelina talk after. I think they're teasing Natalya coming back next week. I think Natalya returns and joins them and helps even the feud, the field a little bit in that feud. But what Amanda is alluding to was there was a number 1 contenders match tonight for Jade and Bianca's women's tag team titles. It was Damage Control, Io Sky, Kairi Sane versus Unholy Union, and Unholy Union won. So we're getting Unholy Union again against Jade and Bianca for the women's tag titles all over again.
There's also kind of a nasty bump at the end where Kairi jumped on, like, did a on Bianca, and I actually didn't clock the fact that Kairi Sane hit her face. My editor was like, I'm worried about Kairi's face. I saw the way that she just seemed to land her entire body weight on only Bianca's shoulder. I just thought, that can't, like, I take bumps from these kids. Let me tell you a story, trying to get a wet child in from a pool. They are going bananas. So, like, I understand to have even a 50-pound child drop all of their weight on my arm is paralyzingly painful. So I was like, oh my God, a grown woman from height, that would be really bad. Yeah, and then after, Kairi Sane's face was, it was bleeding. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. And then, like, after the match, there was a big stare down and whatnot, and that was more compelling to me than the idea that we're just gonna have them face Unholy Union again anyway. So I don't understand the I guess I don't understand, but I don't. Didn't Bianca hate Damage Control so very much though?
Yes.
So I guess I wonder if it's just trying to kick.
That's when we thought we were done with Bianca and Damage Control. Here we go again.
I think they're kicking the can down the road for Bad Blood.
Yeah.
Should we write the feature here, people? What's the card? Here's some wild predictions.
Right. No, it's a month. It's a little bit. What is it? October 5th. It's Bad Blood. So that'll be here before we know it. That's only a month.
That will.
So
That will actually be here before we know it.
yeah.
So that probably stacks in the long term. I think that's probably where we're going forward to.
I really think that they just this would make so much more sense if Jade and Bianca didn't lose the titles from the beginning. If they would still have had the titles from the first time that they won them, there would be more prestige on them by now. But instead, they lose them, which in hindsight, that means they just lost the titles in Scotland just so someone from Scotland won the titles. Like, just so they didn't come completely empty in Scotland. So, like, it's just really upsetting. Like, again, like, I'm not going to go too far on a rant, but, like, this is what Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call her, and Naomi were so upset about. Like, they still haven't figured out the women's tag division. This is the one area that I think they really could use some improvement on. Personally, I think they should swap out the tag titles and just get a women's mid card. But this is, that's conversation for another day because it's so confusing. Like you said, like you thought it was Pure Fusion Collective because
I did.
They've really been in on it for a while, and then you got Damage Control. I
think they amassed so many women's trios so quickly that I got confused, and now I'm like, wait, what? And then I also don't know within those. I wonder if there wasn't meant to be like something else going on, but then once a couple key people get hurt, you don't have trios anymore. You're just back to having like a smattering of teams, and things have to change. So, yeah, I imagine that this isn't ideally where they were headed, but I do think it's a little bit weird. Is there no other tag team? I mean, like, is it just, you know what I mean? Like, is there no one else? Where's Peyton Carter and Katana Chance?
Yeah, no, they gave them the titles for like, what was it, 2 weeks or something like that?
Well, like, couldn't they just be the people who lose to Jade and Bianca next? I just think I don't need a third unholy union in them, but it's okay.
Yeah,
that's the one thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to be critical because I do think it's like a circular thing, right? So like we're more critical of women's matches, so then there's a perception that women's matches aren't as good, which then feeds the public perception feeds the corporate perception. But I'm just like,
ain't the case here. Look, we ain't.
No, we're not haters. We're not hating. We actually want there to be
Exhibit A. Just watch No Mercy from yesterday, and
yes,
there's your example. The women stole the show once again.
Somebody knows how to do it. Maybe call your friend. Mr. Hickenbottom can help you out with this.
Right, yeah. If anybody knows how to book a women's division, hit them up. Shawn Michaels on Tuesdays.
Oh, I do love NXT so very much. And yes.
I'm jealous for the Tuesday crew because
I know, me too.
Bash in Berlin to me, and I mean this, I'm going to sound really harsh, but look, I don't give a damn. It's almost midnight on a Monday. I don't
yes, exactly.
But I feel like Bash in Berlin was a televised house show in Germany. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I could see
that. I guess, I mean, Jade and Bianca winning was really cool. But everything else happened was extremely predictable. Like, they didn't shock us at all. Like, I'm not expecting to be shocked all the time.
Yeah.
But there was, like, nothing. Like, when you go to a house show, you know everything that's going to happen by the card. When you find out that, like, Solo Sikoa is facing Cody Rhodes for the title at a house show, like, clearly Cody Rhodes is not losing the title at a house show.
Yeah.
Like, I know that sounds really harsh, but that's what I feel like Bash in Berlin was.
I think I've attributed that just to like general fatigue because honestly, it started at SummerSlam and it just like has kept it rolling. So I feel like by the time I think that Bash at Berlin is a fine event to perhaps break up the all in weekends back to back. Like I do kind of understand, I guess, from a strategic standpoint, like why did they book that in that date and like why do they do it in that slot?
Yeah.
And probably why did they even do it in that like part of the world? But yeah, I don't know that it was. I think as we move more towards the streaming model, it is interesting to me because, for example, like I know we're not here to talk about AEW, but like AEW wanted me to pony up $50 to pay for this, like to watch All In, right? That's like an investment. I didn't have to pay to watch Bash in Berlin. Like I pay my little
Right.
$6.99 a month or whatever for Peacock. So
True.
if it is like a televised house show, I almost think that that would be acceptable for me if we saw that happening almost more. Does that make sense? Like
Mhm.
if you're gonna do it, just do it every month and like let me watch it from wherever like cool place you go to, like whoever wanted to
Agreed.
pay you guys the most money to tour there. And I think like there is a way for I do think there needs to be a way for the commercials to be balanced in a different way because I refuse to pay the extra little like $4 or whatever. So I get the ads, right? I don't get the WWE clips because also that's what the whole pre-show is. So I really don't
Yeah.
want to watch that again. But I feel like, oh my goodness, this is more ads than a Raw. I feel like there was less wrestling. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was just like I think those ones that are the off, not even that are off from the big four. I think there's probably other ones from beyond that, but I just think kind of the off ones.
Mhm.
Like Backlash, I felt like that for the last 2 years. Like this isn't gonna
Yeah.
happen. Like Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar is not gonna win. Like, this
Right.
isn't happening. So I get where we have to get from point A to point B, but I also don't. What is point B at this point? Like
Yeah.
when the next big thing is what?
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
Yeah, that's the next big one.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Before I get to something that I enjoyed tonight, one more thing to kind of rant about, not really rant, but like something else from Raw, at least from Raw tonight, that it might take me a couple days to figure it out or a week maybe. And by the way, if you guys hear my daughter in the background, I'm sorry, but she's like doing Ric Flair. Apparently doesn't want to go to bed, doing her woos in the background.
Ooh,
So
yes,
I
girl.
apologize if you hear her in the background. But Sami Zayn and Gunther tonight. Gunther comes out and, is kind of celebrating his win. And Sami Zayn comes out. So Sami Zayn, it appears, is challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. How do we feel about that? I'll let you go first.
I feel like it's another maybe kick the can type of a thing where they need to have a feud to get us from point A to point B.
Gotcha.
And I think that the Survivor Series, if it is what I think it might be, I do think it's like legendary and iconic and epic, and they should absolutely do it. But I do think it leaves some other stories in like a little bit of a limbo.
Mhm.
And I think, though, if you look at from a story perspective, like who's the most viable challenger for Gunther, it had to be a veteran, I would say.
Yeah.
Either that or somebody who is going to lose, but someone that's like kind of delusionally confident. But I think those are mostly on SmackDown, honestly.
Now that you said that is 100% Sami Zayn. So that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's like the closest thing you can get
Yeah.
is like it. I think there's a hopeful spin to it, whereas like the other side of the pancakes, like Carmelo Hayes, right, where he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass because I'm gonna do it because I'm amazing and like whatever. But it's like it's the same delusional confidence. It's just with like with spice on it, and Sami Zayn's is like with cheese or something. But so they kind of I do enjoy the idea that someone can tell Gunther, like, I've beat you.
Yeah.
I also don't necessarily think I would buy them immediately throwing Ilja in there with him because that's kind of seems strange from like a just general like card perspective.
Yeah.
I do think that Sami Zayn is going to win a world championship at some point. And I wonder, this doesn't seem like a terrible point. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that it's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of hoping the CM Punk Drew stuff was over.
Yeah.
So I was kind of hoping, not that I think CM Punk would beat Gunther right away, but like I was kind of hoping for something like that. But now that you put it together on what they would need in this moment, like you said, someone that would be like delusional but confident, someone that's beating them. I mean, it's Sami Zayn. He fits the mold perfectly of what they need. Like you said, to kick the can until we get another big feud. I hate to say it like that, but you're right. That's exactly what we got there.
I don't know who's next for Gunther because I don't necessarily believe that it goes directly to CM. Like, I don't believe that that's the direction it goes. So
Yeah.
I think that's a little open ended. Like, once you get to that step, I wouldn't put it past anyone to have Sammy win, because I think everything that you needed to accomplish with Gunther's win has already been accomplished.
Oh, 100%.
He doesn't need a long reign because he just did 666 days. Like, we know that he's a force to be reckoned with. But I do think
he doesn't need to hold this title for 2 years.
No.
No.
Although if that's what they're aiming for, that could make some sense, because I don't know that everything always needs a title. Like, but CM Punk's been so clear, like, that it is actually for him about a championship.
Yeah, because I mean, this for people like CM Punk and Randy Orton, like their days are numbered. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to retire tomorrow, but
Yeah, but like the one that you don't have, I think, is the compelling argument.
Yeah.
Which is why I thought it was a little bit BS that Sheamus got jacked out of this match here tonight. We already talked about it, but it like annoys me. Like, it hurts my heart that Sheamus is only missing an Intercontinental Championship. I don't know if you remember, like, a million years ago, he had like a picture of his like trophy case, like of the titles, and there's literally like a missing spot. Like,
just one missing spot.
Hello, my gosh, like, he needs that. I don't know how we can do this.
He could very well. I think they're saving it for a big moment, like a big PLE, like not just like on a Monday. Because I'm not completely sure, but when is the Intercontinental title match? They haven't even said when that match would be.
Yeah, no, I don't.
They haven't said if it's at Raw or Bad Blood, but either way, Sheamus winning that last title that he needs to complete the. I don't want to say hit for the cycle like baseball, but like something. I mean, the same category to win all the titles. I think somebody like Sheamus would deserve that to be at one of the 4 major PLEs for sure.
Yeah. What else? What else did we miss tonight? I can't think of what my favorite.
They said somebody messaged earlier about it. One of the earlier comments. So yeah, exactly. Again, a reason to listen to this post-show review show. We told you a couple weeks ago about the Judgment Day and how that's why I mentioned, that's why I wrote that article, because I believe it's the beginning of the end. And I have seen people complaining that the Terror Twins are coming out too much on top and it's making the Judgment Day look weak. I've literally seen that before we got on here, and it's like,
that's the point.
That is the whole point, bro. Like, what are we doing? This is the end. There's nothing left for the Judgment Day. They're done. This is the end. This is the finish line. It's going to end with Finn and Damian finally getting their match. This is the beginning of the end. Indeed. So this is exactly what the doctor ordered. We told you this a long time ago. So I think this is exactly what the doctor ordered. I'm still enjoying it though. Like, to be honest, like, I know, even knowing it's the end and being aware that the Terror Twins are going to be coming out on top of this, I still enjoy every time Dom tries to speak. The crowd does not let him. Yes. He literally called the crowd fuckers tonight, by the way. That was awesome.
Yes, he did. I told my boss that. I was like, hey, Mexican grandma alert, because I do think it was the Mexican Grandma Society. I don't know who they are, but whoever complained, because Raquel's finisher could only be the Chingona Bomb for like 1 week. On NXT, it was months, if not years. And so I guess no abuelas are watching NXT, but they do apparently watch Raw, because but he did. He really did. I was pretty impressed by that. I don't know if anyone will know. Will anyone know? I mean, probably not. But like, yeah, I don't know.
Probably not. I've heard that word so many times throughout my years. So like, I knew exactly what he said as soon as he said it. That was awesome. But like, I'm still enjoying him and Liv. I guess it was the only negative I could take from what happened with the Judgment Day tonight was the women's world champion Liv Morgan running from a one-legged Rhea Ripley. I guess if you want to read that far into it, that may make the women's world champion look weak. So it makes Rhea look stronger.
Yeah.
So I could see that part, but other than that, this is still you could see it as well as like a strategic move. Like right now is not the time. Like I don't need to fight you right now. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not here for you. Like we'll handle our business because Liv's gonna beat her. Rhea's not gonna beat
Yeah.
Liv. Like Liv's
Yeah.
gonna come out on top of this. So
Hot take.
I enjoy it. I'm still enjoying it, and I am enjoying the last days of the Judgment Day. I imagine they're gonna lose the tag titles within the next month or so, and then that'll be the beginning. Finn will probably either, I mean, he'll beat or lose to Damien. I really don't want to read that far and try to predict that, but like, just hope everyone enjoyed the ride because this is the beginning of the end of the Judgment Day. So try to enjoy it. You know, it's been a great story, and you got to
Yeah.
commend WWE sometimes for their stories like this. Like the Judgment Day lasted 2.5, almost 3. We're going on 3 years
Mm-hmm.
when we hit 2025. So you got to commend WWE. The Judgment Day has been a compelling story and running Monday Night Raw for a couple years now. So just enjoy it. But it is the beginning of the end, and tonight was definitely a testament of that.
The thing that sold me on Joe was that he called JD a bobblehead multiple times.
Oh yeah.
He acknowledged that the crowd chanted bobblehead at him, and
Yes.
then he said, bobblehead goes down, or like he said something where he called him bobblehead, and it was so amazing. I was like, yes,
Yes.
this is
That's what
my
I
guy.
said, and like that was another moment where I said, yeah, he's getting comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's starting to get
I
his
think even
footing
by the end of the show, he was less robotic. I think at the beginning, I
for
was just like,
sure.
oh, this guy. But then also, like, it's his very first day. It's like a totally different environment.
Yeah.
I think it was as good of a first time as you could expect. Like, I do think they did a
Yeah.
great
I
job.
mean, I would hate for someone to see me on my first day of my job
Oh my God,
and be
right?
able to critique me online about how well
Yeah.
or
No,
bad I
thank
did
you.
on my first day.
No, thank you. No,
I
thank
hope
you.
not.
My very first thing I ever published on Wrestle Talk, I got my brain like all mixed up, and I called Johnny Gargon or Johnny Johnny oh my God. I know how to say his
Gargano?
freaking name. Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
But I called him Joey Gargano
Oh
because I got him
no.
confused with that NASCAR guy, Joey Logano. So then I got them like all turned around in my head, and I just hit publish, and it was like all it was like the setup for like the live results. It wasn't even like a story. Like I don't even think I was trusted to do stories yet. I know I wasn't. I was live results for the longest. I mean, not really. I was live results for a while, but um yeah. And then immediately
We've
was like,
all
oh hey, that's not his
don't even
name.
get me started. I've done way worse. I mean, I'll make you feel better real quick before we get to the end. But like, I read one of my first articles. I used to write for Bleacher Report back before Bleacher Report got really big, and I used to
Mm-hmm.
write about the NBA. Okay,
Okay.
this was in 2008,
Wow.
2007. 2007, I wrote an article saying that Steph Curry's brother, Seth Curry, was going to be better than Steph Curry.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's he doing nowadays?
He's still playing, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
So, but obviously not as good as Steph Curry. So, look, I made you feel a lot better. So we've all
yeah,
had our
we've
rough
all had our things
look.
for
Yes.
sure.
So I made you feel better. Joey
Remind me,
Gargano,
yeah.
Johnny Gargano, or Steph Curry, Seth Curry. Like, I
I'm
think
pretty
yours was a
sure
lot less worse.
that's true. That is a little bit true. Okay, let us know. We forgot to say slamchats.com. So instead, you should go to DC's Twitter and or Instagram. You should locate his Venmo and you should send him money. Give him a 5 spot. He's got kids. If you want to
You do
support my
too.
Jimmy, huh?
You do too.
Yeah, if you want to support my Jimmy John's habit, or if you want to fund me launching my mukbang channel, because frankly, if I did any kind of reactions that was just me while I was writing, it would be a mukbang channel. So could probably get multiple perverts, kill 2 perverts with 1 stone. Yeah, if you want to support my Jimmy John's habit, if you want to help me shove cured meats down my gullet, please do. Um, find a way to do that on the internet. There's plenty of things. We did shows on there. Yeah, please do buy me Jimmy John's. I am delightfully do you have like do you have ritualistic eating? I do. It's like bad, right? I'll eat like the same thing every day. Like I'll get like one thing 3 times a week, and I'll eat it for like, okay, I ate half of it today, and then I eat half of it tomorrow.
I really don't.
I'm like
I just
obsessive though. Like that's the only
I mean, look,
thing
I'm
that
fat, so I eat everything. I don't really have
Oh, I eat terribly though. I'm eating Jimmy
like
John's and like taco time every day of life. There's a really good chocolate ganache cake from Trader Joe's that's like I
is
will
there?
sing the gospel of that cake for all time because Trader Joe's food is super good. Okay,
It
we'll
is.
let you go. Come back for next week when we have so many things to talk about. I can't think of any
Yeah,
of
we
the
got we
things
got the fatal four-way next week
we
for
do.
that
We have the
Continental
fatal
number one
four
contender.
way.
Who's gonna win? Jey Uso. Oh, my bad, I gave it away.
Yeah, I mean, I hope
Not
so.
predictable at all that Bronson Reed's going to come back next week and cause Braun Strowman for taking his spot, and Sheamus is going to beat the hell out of Pete Dunne for ruining his match, and then it's just pretty much Jay versus Ilja and Jay pins Ilja again. Not predictable at all, but we'll see. Maybe I could be wrong.
Bada bing, bada boom.
As long as
We're
Jay
out of
wins, that's all I
here.
care about.
Yeet. Oh, I also like that Joe said there's yeet puddles all over
Yeet
this place.
puddles.
Okay,
Shout
good
out Joe
night.
Tessitore.
Good night, you little lovely yeet
Hey,
puddles.
peace, everybody. We'll see you
We'll
next
see
week,
you
okay?
next week.